If you are getting married before Ramadan, are you looking for a cook? Are you looking for somebody who's going to cook food for you? Is Ramadan all about food? No. So if you are looking for somebody to cook food for you before Ramadan, have you not been eating?
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
Then why must you rush into Ramadan just for somebody to come and be cooking for you? So before now, who has been cooking for you?
Alhamdulillah, we just came out of the sacred month of Ramadan with the Eid celebrations and all that. And I'm here with Coach Adebayo Abdulateef discussing issues around marriage, family, and relationships. We're asking the question, what is it that motivates a lot of people to want to get married just before the onset of the month of Ramadan?
Well, inshallah al-Karim, thank you very much. Alhamdulillah, the motivation behind people getting married shortly before Ramadan, personally, I don't really like that idea. People rushing in next Ramadan with my baby, with my wife. I don't really like it as such, because there are so many consequences or effects that comes with it even after the marriage. But maybe some of the motivation could be that maybe they feel Ramadan is an very holy month and they want to go into it, starting up a family with maybe spirituality or things like that. Or maybe some are even looking forward to their independence, getting their independence with a wife who is going to start cooking for them and things like that. But aside that, I don't see any other motivation apart from those two I've mentioned. I don't really know what actually motivates people looking forward to Ramadan. Oh, Ramadan.
Because we see this happening a lot. In fact, I also had the experience about 2 weeks before the month of Ramadan. Somebody came to us seeking for our assistance to solicit money, and he said he was a needy brother, that he wanted to get married before Friday because Ramadan was to be Saturday, probably. And his budget, he had about 50,000 naira to pay for bride price, and later discovered that the Islamic limit or the nisab for this year for Ramadan for bride price was about 150k. And so he wanted us to help him raise 100k to pay the bride price. But the way his insistence on doing that nikah before Ramadan was what was surprising me, because I wanted to know why did you set this time limit? If you don't have money, why not wait till when you gather enough money, even if it's in 2 months, 3 months, whenever time you are able to gather enough money, then you go ahead. But he was insisting, and I personally, just like you said, I refuse to agree with it, because I feel like we shouldn't be setting such a serious deadline for ourselves. I have to marry in Ramadan, before Ramadan, because he wants this woman to cook for him. And for somebody that is just struggling to even pay bride price, what do you intend to feed her with? But you want her to, when Ramadan comes, they are looking forward to this new wife that will cook all these things, experiment new foods, and lay the table with all kind of delicacies during Ramadan. I think that sometimes it's just idealistic, or we just have superfluous ideas in our minds as what we people see Ramadan as like celebration, or to flaunt whatever it is that you have, dishes and all kinds of things. But I really don't think that is what
at all.
Because if you marry,
personally, I don't like it, because there are so many negative effects to marrying maybe like some weeks before Ramadan, which we'll be talking about.
And is Ramadan all about, for newly married couples, is it all about iftar and sahur and things like that?
Inshallah. Well, I've had some session on that before, where I asked some people who are getting married before Ramadan, if you are getting married before Ramadan, are you looking for a cook? Are you looking for somebody who's going to cook food for you? Is Ramadan all about food? No. So if you are looking for somebody to cook food for you before Ramadan, have you not been eating? You understand?
Exactly.
Then why must you rush into Ramadan just for somebody to come and be cooking for you? So before now, who has been cooking for you? And who told you that she cannot be cooking for you even that during Ramadan? She can still cook for you. There's no any around there for you to eat her food even when you're not married. So why are you rushing? Why are you rushing into it? So there's no point for you rushing into it because you want somebody to cook for you. Ramadan, marriage is beyond just food.
Yeah. And let me ask another question. Just like you were saying that you had to discourage some people. I remember during Islamia, I told you of a scenario where my Islamia Muallim was telling us of what he usually has people young men coming to meet him after they've gotten married before Ramadan, to say that we mistakenly, talk to our wives during the daytime of Ramadan, because it's supposed to be their honeymoon stage. So obviously the month of Ramadan will restrict you and it will affect you. How does it affect a couple's intimacy? Those that got married just before Ramadan, how does it affect?
Well, those are one of the negative effects of getting married weeks before Ramadan, because you can actually take out intimacy out of marriage, because when you take intimacy out of marriage, then that marriage does no longer exist again. As for newly wedded couple, they are supposed to take out maybe like for the first few months to enjoy themselves, to understand themselves,
That's the
to
time.
explore. You understand? And you cannot be exploring inside Ramadan. When you just come back from work and you see your wife and say, Shemi Monikini, so this thing belongs to me, and you grab it from behind. And inside Ramadan, you can't actually do that. When you wake up in the morning and say, so this thing belongs to me, and you quickly assess it. You understand? So if you go into Ramadan, so if you go into marriage maybe a week before Ramadan, then I can tell you there's possibility of you losing your love life after Ramadan if care is not taken, except if you are intentional about it. And why putting yourself under the risk of committing what should we call that? That's kafara.
You have to expiate later. You
Yes,
have
that's
to pay
kafara.
back.
Yes, when you know that you cannot hold body.
You have
You
committed
understand
a
now?
sin,
So why
yeah.
not wait until after Ramadan before you do your marriage, so that you don't give
Pay
yourself
60.
pay 60.
60
You that
fasting
cannot
or
hold body
50.
for 30 days. You now come and pay 60. Well, inshallah, may Allah make it easy for us.
Just to round up, Coach Abdulatif, because these two issues we are talking about are fundamental and sacred. The month of Ramadan, we know that is a month of spiritual rejuvenation for us as Muslims. And then marriage too, because you are a marriage coach, is something also that is very, very important. So none is more important than the other. And for somebody to lose one because of the other now, I want you to just advise couples generally, especially those that got married just before Ramadan, how can they maintain their intimacy after Ramadan, and what is your advice for them going forward after that? Because like you said, that period of Ramadan can make them to lose that bond. It can make them to not to connect the way they were supposed to in their honeymoon stage. How would you advise them so that they don't lose out?
Okay, for those who actually got married before Ramadan, I want to encourage them that they should be more intentional. They should look out for ways at which they can bond more with their newly wedded partner just after the Ramadan, because if care is not taken, they will lose it, and if they lose it, that will be the end of the marriage. And you see, most often we've seen most marriages now crashing, and when you look at it, you realize that most of them got married some weeks before Ramadan. After the Ramadan, now it's not time for iftar again, it's not time for sahur again, and things like that. Before you know, there's no connectivity, there's no connection again. You understand? So I just want to encourage them, please, if you are not married yet, please don't marry weeks before Ramadan. If you want to get married, marry months, like 3 or 4 months before Ramadan, so that you would have built a kind of a life around your intimacy. You understand what works for her, what works for you. You must have explored your sexual life together. But marrying some weeks before Ramadan, that will kill your sexual life, and you won't be able to know what actually works for her, works for you. Before you know, after Ramadan, you begin to hear she's not satisfying me, I cannot satisfy him, and before you know, the marriage is gone. So please, I want to plead to brothers and sisters who marry before Ramadan to be more intentional and work on their sexual life after Ramadan.
I hope that brothers and sisters have learned one or two things in this conversation.